Your question about how do you keep from becoming tunnel vision, and especially when you're trying to implement new change. I know that's something that I have to struggle with sometimes, even with what I'm doing in a new position that I just took as a youth pastor at a local church. One of the things that has gone on is there wasn't a whole lot of structure and not even really a theology or any kind of real administrative structure to the youth ministry. Students have a great time hanging out with each other and being relational with each other, but there's not a real theology of either evangelism or discipleship. So the fact of the matter is this particular group has very strong relationships and rapport with each other and, of course, with the former youth pastor. So it's difficult to not want to come in and change everything because of the tunnel vision of getting purpose and structure and theology to the youth group. I could do that with the leaders and kind of talk about that as far as volunteer leaders, and even our volunteer leaders have been more driven in the aspect of kind of like doing tasks rather than doing ministry and building a ministry rapport with the students. So it's really hard to not be tunnel vision to try and make those changes, because if I go in, like I said, like a bull in a china closet, I'll probably miss the opportunities to build other relationships with students who already have something going. It's just going to take some time to implement that change. Of course, change is difficult because people already do have kind of their own bias on the way they feel like things have gone, and sort of a mentality sometimes of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But at the same time, if there's not a foundation for why we're doing what we're doing, it is kind of broke. People just don't realize it. So I'm kind of interested to figure out in this class, especially, how to implement change in organizations that might be stuck. And frankly, I think youth ministries are probably the easiest to change because there is so much kind of in and out of the program. Whereas sometimes in a regular church format, you've got adults who have gone to that church for years and years and years. And so change is difficult, again, not because they don't want to change, as we've read in the articles and even in the video, but the fact that they have competing commitments. Sometimes they're even competing commitments, maybe with the way things have been done in the church, which are good, and maybe they don't feel like there needs to be a change. But I love the concept of competing commitments and understanding that people do want to change, or they're open to change. It's just you have to figure out what their previous expectations have been and their previous way of functioning has been. It is true still with young people too that those competing commitments are there as well. Sometimes the competing commitment is feeling like they had such a great rapport with the former youth pastor that they feel like maybe they're betraying that if they don't kind of build a rapport with the new incoming youth pastor. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out. So I appreciate your comment, and it makes me very more cognizant to be aware that I don't have tunnel vision when it comes to implementing change, even if it is good change, even if it's foundational change. I've got to make sure that I take things at a process that the church, the volunteers, and the students can all handle without rushing things too quickly. So I appreciate your word on that, and looking forward to seeing what this class has to offer.